Hi everyone. Today we'll be talking about the effect of gene editing on human life in the future and the ethical issues around it. In today's discussion, Mr. O and Young will join me to talk about this. And please introduce yourselves.
Oh, I'm young and I studied chemical engineering and I was in the military recently and I retired. Mr.
Hi
O?
everyone, my name is Mr. O. I study computer science and I am currently a software engineer.
And hi, my name is Chris Lee. I'm a PhD student in neuroscience. And yeah, let's get started. So, what do you guys know about gene editing? Have you heard about it?
Yeah, not too long ago there was like a hype about CRISPR, right?
hmm
Do you guys know what technique it is?
Yeah, I kind of saw a video. It was like a
Yeah.
protein from like a bacteria, right? That protects them from virus, but
Mm-hmm.
and it
hmm
basically it looks at the DNA of the bacteria and
Yeah.
then it just cuts it out. But somehow we
Yeah.
can program it, right?
Like that's the
Yeah. You
entire idea of
can replace, edit,
editing.
add, or remove certain
hmm
gene of your interest. What do you guys think we can do with this? Like, what are some
hmm
pros and cons that you think like we can have from it, from gene editing?
To our lives, maybe
Yeah.
we can cure some like viral diseases that we have. I heard that like most of the people still have herpes virus in their fucking AIDS, you know? We don't have to
AIDS.
keep
Yep.
taking
Yeah.
medicine if we have HIV
Hopefully,
virus.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Or
hopefully
maybe
COVID as
cancer.
well.
Cancer is
Maybe
a big
cancer.
thing,
Thinking
right?
like just by like what I know how CRISPR works, CRISPR-Cas9 works, it seems like essentially you could do pretty much anything, like gene hack like the code any way you want,
Mm.
as long as you know
Mhm.
what sequence you're looking for and like what you want to replace it with. And
Yep.
if you know like how like gene coding works, I feel like then anything biological like can be hacked.
Mm.
So like diseases, maybe you want to like improve your physicality. I feel like that's possible. It's
That
just
is.
it's pretty like crazy. You get like the entire sandbox creation of like a human being,
Sandbox.
basically.
That brings some like ethical issues about it. We know it's really powerful that it can prevent or treat diseases as we talked about. Like what
Yeah,
other abuse do you see from it?
I
abuse.
mean,
Hmm.
in a military sense, maybe, you know, some dictator might have super
Mm-hmm.
soldiers, you know? I
hmm
mean,
Superhuman, yeah.
yeah, like in the movies, you know?
Yeah.
I
Our
think
own
that's
genes. Because if you think about it, like human body is just a big machine.
hmm
Uh, and we can manipulate our own like manuals, our own recipe,
hmm
mm,
and on how we function.
it's like
But
Yeah, it's
making a
what's
pretty amazing.
computer or something.
yeah, yeah.
I want
But
this
what's
GPU, I want this CPU,
right, right.
whatever.
And what's concerning me is that this technology that we think uh,
hmm
is pretty like precise and cheap isn't really, it might not be really effective as we think in humans.
That's true.
That is effective.
Yeah, so it definitely needs more study or more
hmm
researches.
that's something I was like curious about. Like, do
Yeah,
they actually experiment on humans? Like, I feel like that's very unlikely.
I feel like
I
China
think I
already
heard like
did.
China, yeah,
China
like
did. Yeah.
someone tested on twins, like they're twins, but
Hmm.
in China,
Like
but
in
it seems
2008.
like borderline like human rights. Like this could be like one of the ethical questions, like about
Yes.
testing
Yeah,
on humans.
but
Is this something?
Um, what I think is that I think it's really a dilemma because we can
Mm-hmm.
actually save people from, gene disorders who are
Mm-hmm.
born with it, you know? They
Mm-hmm.
didn't do
Right.
anything wrong, you know? Before
Mm-hmm.
they were
Oh,
born,
you're
we can fix it, right? If
yeah.
in theory, right? And
In theory, it has many controversies, ethical controversies.
Yeah.
First, the gene, however, like we don't completely comprehend the downstream effect or the real like consequences of like mutating or editing that single gene. We know that gene is associated with this disease, but we don't know what other effects that it can have.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one concern. And second concern is that like if someone starts editing like human genes like this, and everyone will, and it can be like we might be playing God.
Oh, so like,
Yeah,
where's the line? That kind of
yeah.
thing,
Where
right?
where do you draw the line of
Like,
doing this? Like,
s-
can we edit our genes to be immune to like common cold?
mm.
Like, is it
Not even
okay to
that.
do that? Or
I feel like it's gonna be more like a, it starts like, yeah, we're gonna prevent this disease from happening, and then after that, why not like just give him good looking face at the same
yeah,
time? Oh, why don't we give him like full hair or like
mm-hmm.
good brain or
Speaking of like
something?
LeBron James.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone can be whoever they want to be, right?
Or their parents want them to be,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I guess the question here is like, is that a wrong, like something ethically wrong that you would perceive as? It's just like the concept of, we're just trying to make our lives better. We're breeding these
Yep,
animals
yep.
like for our benefit and just breeding them selectively, like to get stronger cows and like bigger and longer legged horses. And so
Yeah.
like the idea of playing God like has been kind of done before anyway. Like
Yeah.
that idea, I'm
Mm,
not really sure what that means. Like play God.
Yeah,
interesting.
playing
Yeah.
God is so vague now.
In there, I just want to
Uh-huh.
clarify that in most
Yeah.
countries, it's illegal to modify these like genes in germline cells or like embryos.
Mhm.
Oh.
We can, which can have effect like in
Mhm.
next generations.
Mhm.
But in research, they use this technique to modify somatic cells, which
Mhm.
is limited to only like certain tissues within that organism, so it doesn't
Mhm.
like pass to the next generations.
Mhm.
Mm.
But yeah,
Do you
let's
know
go
the
back to your.
reasoning of like why it's banned?
Uh,
Like what their reasoning is?
I
Mm.
think we are afraid because we don't know.
What's
Yeah, I
gonna
think
bring?
that's
We
big.
Yeah.
don't know we don't know the consequences. So
Yeah, I think people just tend to be like naturally conservative and something like
yeah,
this is like just like such a groundbreaking
it
thing if it
is.
was like normalized.
Mm. I think
So
so
I think
too.
naturally people are just like, yeah, intimidated by the idea that you can kind of hack your entire biology.
Right.
Mm.
Do you think then this technique is inevitable?
I think it's
Yeah, definitely.
inevitable.
Definitely inevitable. I
So in the
think.
future, it'll happen no matter what.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think people are competitive in nature. Like
Mhm.
some country or some organization will start doing it and they're like,
Mhm. Mhm.
oh, it's
Yeah.
good or bad, like whatever.
Hmm.
That's But then like people are gonna be like, why can't I do it then? You know?
Right.
Like
Mhm.
I'm behind now because everybody's
Right.
doing it or somebody's doing it and they're
Right.
going ahead, but
Mhm.
we're not doing it. So
Right. So it'll cause some kind of inequality or
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's.
even
I think
yeah,
that's.
or make it even worse.
Yeah. I think the technology is inevitable, and I think
Yeah.
I totally agree that it's an important discussion we have to
Yeah.
make. And like in preparations for it, and like just having ideas like what's potentially possible in the upcoming years. Um, but in the overall idea of gene editing, like my personal opinion is very progressive. I think
Hmm.
it's gonna be pretty natural. Like I see it as a natural progression.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm,
and I just have concerns and basically like that idea of class and the reference is making to Brave New World. Like I
mm,
have the same concerns with like even financial disparities among
Yep.
classes right now, social classes right now. It's just gonna get like amplified by something like this. This is just changing your entire biology. It's like
Mm.
like you can.
But yeah, this topic is what the author
Mhm.
of Homo Deus, the book I read,
Yuval
uh,
Harari.
yeah, Yuval
Mhm.
Harari, what he was saying was a human will be able to evolve themselves using this technique.
Mhm.
Um, so from Homo sapiens, which we
Mhm.
are now, that we can evolve into Homo Deus,
God.
Mhm.
God, yeah.
Human God.
So basically, human are playing gods.
Mhm.
Mm.
Concern is that who decides when or what to edit.
I mean, it's us. But it's really hard. Like we still don't have answers. Like we still don't
Mhm.
know how we're gonna use it, or like
Mhm.
how we're gonna utilize this, whatever. Like where the line is, like what it could
Mhm.
do.
The
You
boundaries,
know,
yeah.
we have vague idea what it can do, right? But then we
Mhm.
Right.
still don't know
Mhm.
like full
So,
potential of it,
uh-huh.
basically.
So you're also leaning towards like more research and
Yeah, I really think
yeah.
this kind of, but
Mhm.
because of this break that we're giving,
Mhm.
we're able to see like, oh, what we could do, and
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
like what we shouldn't do. We have time to think about it.
But as of now, we have to be really cautious about it because we don't know the full consequence of this technology. Um, so the least we can do is to talk about this, just
Mm,
like what we did today.
mm,
Uh, but the next level that it requires, which I think is like the institutional level,
Mhm.
the
okay,
country level
okay.
of restriction. I
Well,
wish we had more time to talk about other topics, not only gene editing, but other
yeah.
biotechnologies. Thank you guys for your time, and I hope you have a great evening.
All right, thanks.